Welcome to the Mother Daughter-ish podcast. It's your mama's favorite podcast.
And the podcast your daughter always wanted.
This is Miss Dawn.
And Angelique.
From the 713. Houston, y'all. Get connected and stay connected weekly as new shows debut on Sunday, Wednesday, and please check out our Saturday Out and About showcases.
Enjoy the show. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, and tell every woman on the planet that you know about our show.
Here's our show for today. Mothers and daughters, guess what? I've got a PSA for you to join us for an amazing meet and greet. Join Mothers and Daughters and the International Ladies of Purpose for a special meet and greet on May the 17th at Black Rock Coffee Bar. That is the one that's located at 7075 Highway 6 North. It's in Houston, Texas, 77095. That's on the west side of Houston. We're going to be there from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Come and connect with us. Come and network with us. Come and meet and greet other nonprofit leaders and for-profit business owners in various communities around Houston. Also learn more about everyone's mission, how they empower other women, how they are uplifting communities. Whether you're passionate about personal growth, professional development, or simply want to meet like-minded individuals, this is absolutely the Saturday event for you. Mark your calendars, and we'll see you there at the Black Rock Coffee Bar, located at 7075 Highway 6 North, Houston, Texas, 77095, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Make sure you bring plenty of cards, plenty of postcards, plenty of flyers if you've got events coming up, plenty of everything to share with everyone that will be in attendance. I'll see you soon. Bye. Hey, mothers and daughters, I have another great interview for you today, and just learning about how so many women are making it happen while they are in other countries and doing really, really well, and not falling to the negative comments of what people have to say when you want to move to another country. But in fact, you can have an amazing time. My guest today is Miss Jen, and she's going to talk to you about where she's from and where she's living now. But not only that, we'll talk about food, we'll talk about culture, we'll talk about community, we'll talk about everything that you can think of that would help you to try to make a decision if you would like to move to a different space in life. So welcome, Miss Jen. How are you today?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited that you're my guest. And, when I put out requests to have different people on the show, I get so excited when they respond because I'm like, ooh, another person I get to meet and learn something about. To me, it's very exciting. So let's talk about it. Give us your name and then tell us where you originally are from and then where you are now and how you came to the decision, this is going to be my place.
Great. I am a California native. I grew up in San Jose, so I'm from the Bay Area. I left the Bay Area when I went to university, and then when I graduated from college, I moved to the state of Idaho. You go where your job is. So moved to Idaho, lived in a small town in southeast Idaho called Idaho Falls.
Okay, I know where that is.
Was raising, yeah, it's beautiful, beautiful country,
Yeah.
really cold. I got married, I had 3 kids, and then I got divorced. So I found myself as a single mom, 3 teenagers, and I've been in Idaho Falls for a long time working. And I worked for a company that I was running their talent acquisition team for North and South America.
Okay.
And in January of 2023, I went to a conference in Houston and
Yay, my
met.
hometown.
Yeah,
That's
all
where,
right.
that's
I went
where
to
I'm from,
Houston.
Houston. Okay.
Ah, good. Okay, great. Well, Houston's cool. I really liked it. And our VP of HR for the company that I work for the Asia, Middle East, and Africa region happened to be at this conference. And he announced in this meeting, I have this head of talent acquisition position open in Dubai. Is anyone interested in it? And it went in one ear and out the other.
Right.
I thought, I'm a single mom, 3 kids, 3 teenagers. I just was able to buy a house. I kind of felt like I was getting some roots.
Right, right.
And then, I thought, no way. But then my mentor at the time, who I have to definitely thank, said to me, Jen, you're gonna miss out if you don't take your kids, you should do it. And I said, no, I don't think so. And he approached me again and said, just at least give him your resume. And
Right.
I thought, you know what? Why not? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Okay. So I gave him my resume and they interviewed me and one other person. It was between the two of us. And I thought, oh, for sure they're going to pick her. She's a
Right.
single woman,
Oh,
much cheaper. For me, it's going to be, 3 kids. And I got the call on March 10th of 2023. And they said, congratulations, we need you in 30 days.
oh, 30
And
days?
yeah, 30 days. So I had to break the news to my kids and I had to figure out what I was going to do with everything.
Wait a minute, wait a
And
minute.
I
You
moved.
broke the news to them. What was their response? Because we're talking
Yeah.
teenage boys. They have friends. They have what was their
Oh, yeah.
response?
So at the time, my kids were 18. My daughter was about to graduate high school. And then my boys were 15 and just barely 13. And I sat them down. They came home from school, and I had my passport out on the table with the book from Dr. Seuss, Oh, the Places You'll Go. And I had them sit on the couch, and they knew I had been interviewing. I'm really open with my kids. So they
Yeah.
knew I'd been interviewing. I think when they saw my passport, they knew. And I read him the book, and lots of tears happened as we read through the book. And I just said, guys, I got the job. And my daughter, who I thought was not going to want to go, was thrilled. She was like, yeah, let's go. And my son, the 15-year-old, said, you are ruining my life.
Yeah.
My friends are here, right?
Yeah.
He was finishing his freshman year of high
Yeah.
school.
Yeah.
My friends are here. I'm so mad that we're doing this. And then, of course, my 13-year-old echoed his brother and said, yeah, yeah, you're ruining my life. And yeah. And I didn't know how to respond. I'll be honest. I thought, oh my gosh, I don't know what to say. And I went in my room and I
And I'm
cried
sure
a
you had
lot and
played it
thought,
all in your head anyway.
oh yeah.
We play out every which way it could happen.
If they say this, then I'll say this. If
Yeah,
they say
yes,
this, then I'll
yeah.
say this. Yeah, of course, of course. And I went in my room and thought, oh my gosh, am I ruining my children's lives? And then the thought came to me, how many other 15-year-old boys have said to their parents, you're ruining my life? Probably many.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so I got my kids back together and I just said, I don't know many single mothers that would move their children 8,000 miles away to the Middle East. I'd never been to Dubai,
yeah.
never been
Oh,
to the Middle
that was
East.
going to be my next question. I was wondering, had you ever
No,
been there? So this was all new, 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 new.
everything. Totally new. It was like sight unseen, only just the internet, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah.
all the cool pictures. But as a little tiny girl, my dream was to live in a skyscraper apartment building in a giant city and carry a briefcase and wear high heels. I never wanted a white picket fence. I never wanted any of those things. And at 45, I finally got this. And I thought, and I told that to my kids, and I said, this is a dream for me. This is something I've worked for all my life. And so, how about if you just be proud of me that I got this opportunity? And my youngest son said, well, what if we hate it? And I said, right, but what if we love it?
Yes.
What if we love it? How will we know unless we go and try?
Right.
And so then that really changed their thought process,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
they came to terms with it, right? And here we are so it's March 17th now, so almost exactly 2 years ago I moved here.
How are they adjusting?
So I will tell you that my kids, I was so worried when I dropped them off at school that first day. I cried all the way to work
Yeah,
and thought, please, God, let someone be nice to them.
yeah.
Um, and I will tell you, my children have navigated this place with grace
See?
and with, if they've, I know they tell me that they miss their friends, but they haven't really shown it. They've, I mean, they're still, thank goodness for technology, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
because
they
you
can
can,
be
you
still
can they can get on
connected.
the computer.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So they're still connected. But on our 1 year anniversary of moving here, I took my kids to dinner and I said, because I wrote out what things I've learned in the last year when, what have I learned living in the Middle East that I really didn't know before? And I asked my children the same question.
Mhm.
And I made a list of what they said. And some of the things on their list were, I've learned to respect religion. I've learned to
Mm.
be proud of my heritage.
Mhm.
I've learned resilience and kindness. And I'm thinking in my head, my goodness, my kids are 19, 16, and 14. You know what? I don't know lots of teenagers that their first thing would be, I learned how to be resilient. I've learned how to respect culture and religion.
Mm.
And that was out of their mouths. They had no idea what was on my list.
Right.
And 2 years later, my son, the one that said I was ruining his life, said, can we stay here till I graduate? So we have no plans of returning right now because he'll graduate in another year. And then my other son will then have finished his sophomore year of high school. So, I mean, they've done amazing. I have been incredibly proud of them because it hasn't been easy. It's never an easy thing.
Right.
Um, but they're amazing. I'm so, so lucky. They're so good.
And you're still at that same job?
I am.
So
Yep, I
so it,
am.
so you're going to be there now. Have they have any plans for going back to the US, or are they like, you know what? I think we can take roots here.
Yeah, so it's interesting because up until recently, my son said, I'm going to go back to the US for college. And I said,
Okay.
great, that's
Okay.
great.
That's fine.
And recently he said, I think I'm going to go to university in the Netherlands. He
Oh,
wants to study in the Netherlands right now, and it could change.
yeah, 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 of course.
He'll be 18 in August and has another year of school, but his friends here are talking about going to the Netherlands, and he'd like to go with them.
Yeah, that is so cool. And you see, you taught them a lesson, they've taught you a lesson, you've all learned lessons while you're there.
Yeah,
And it's that fear of sometimes thinking that you're just not. Let me tell you, when I talk to women that I meet all the time, all over the globe, they say, I live here, but I would really love to be there because I went visit and it just touched my soul. And I just feel like I'm supposed to be there. And they say, well, I'm afraid because I think if I move to another country, I'm never going to get a husband because, what if that culture doesn't allow, whatever, or what if I just don't find anybody that looks like me or whatever the reason is. They don't think they're going to get a husband. The second thing is they don't know if they get transferred with a job, if it'll be sustainable or if it'll be, well, we needed you for a year, but we don't really need you now. So then they're on the job hunt. So they're afraid of that. And I'm like, well, I think you need to hear from women who are doing it, who have been doing it. I've had interviewed women that have gone because of a job and 20 years later, they're still there and also have their
yeah,
own business. So it's like those things that sometimes people are afraid of. It's just because they haven't met someone who's doing it, or they haven't met
yeah.
someone who can say, hey, you don't have to be afraid to come to the Middle East. Now, let me ask you this. When you told your friends, so you got the kids covered, okay? You took care of inside the house. Let's go outside the house. When you told your friends, I'm going to be moving to the Middle East, what were some of the good comments and what were some, because I know you got some weird comments. Just me visiting
Yeah, I
for
did.
3 weeks, I got
Yeah.
that, weird comments. But what were some of the good comments? And then what were some of the like, what are you talking about comments?
I had several people say to me, I wish I was that brave.
Yeah,
I wish I could do that. I want to do that too. I wish I could be like you.
yeah,
And I remember thinking, well, you can be like me, but it's not that easy, right? I
right,
mean, there's a lot of reasons why someone maybe wouldn't feel comfortable doing it, but
right.
my really good friends who know me well knew that this was just a dream come true and just were, I will be your biggest cheerleader. Please make sure you post your stories on Instagram. We want to follow everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
And there have been a few things that I posted where people have said, wow, what an inspiration. And I share only because I would love to inspire someone else to live their dream. And it's never too late, right? I'm 47 now and it's never ever too late.
Mhm.
So I got a lot of really great support and my family was super excited for me.
Oh, good, good,
Sure,
good,
they were going to
good.
miss us, but man, my family was like, go, go, go. And then on the flip side, I had people say things like, well, I hope you're going to be safe
Yeah.
or, I would never move my children there. Or, are you sure? Do you have to cover yourself up? I have tattoos, or no one's going to accept you. You don't look the part. And these are from people that don't really know me anyway.
And probably have
And the
never been to
same,
Dubai.
yeah, exactly. It
Exactly.
killed me. The safety comments killed me because I would never, ever put my children purposefully in harm's way, ever, right? I've been a single mom for a really long time, and I've kept my children safe. I would never do that. And I think people thought I was going to live in the sand. I really do. I think people thought I was going
That
to be
is
in a
what they
tent in the
think.
sand.
That is what
Yeah,
they
I
think.
really do.
The stigmas that you hear, sometimes they can be so ignorant. I remember when I have a ladies travel group for ladies 50 and older, and we were planning to go to Ghana. And somebody said, well, I'm sure they don't have any hotels worth anything. And everybody lives in like little huts. And I said, actually, we're booked at the Marriott. So what are you talking
We're
about?
going to be
What are you
fine.
talking
Yeah.
about? Like what have you been? When was the last time you went? And they go, oh no, I never been, but I need you to shut up.
Yeah,
I
right.
just say it very calm.
Exactly.
I need you specifically to shut up because like you have no
Yeah.
idea. Well, that is so exciting that you did not listen to all of the negative comments, but
Yeah.
your cheerleaders that said, "Hey, make sure you post it. I'll be your biggest cheerleader." Because if you
Right.
if you think about all the things that people say that are just really crazy, especially the ones who've never been there, you'll never go anywhere. You'll never do anything, and you'll never be able to see the things that you know you deserve to see.
You're absolutely right. That's the so true. So
Yeah,
true.
very true.
So true.
So let's talk about dating. Is it
Oh
easy?
gosh.
Is it yeah, yeah. Is it easy? Is it hard? I'm gonna tell you, just between me and you. When I was in the Middle East in December, I was texting my daughters and letting them like, I just love it over here. I'm like, the vibe is so high, the men are so beautiful, the this, the that. And I'm telling you, everywhere I went, I was meeting different people. And I just
Yeah.
have so many people on my WhatsApp thing now that, back and forth, hey, how are you doing? Hey, I'm doing great. And just actually having conversations and with some of the men just talking about, is it acceptable for them to even be flirting or talking with, someone who's not in their culture or whatever. And, some said they don't care, and some said, absolutely not. I've already been slated to marry this particular person, or,
Yeah.
things like that. So, how has the dating scene been?
Yeah, I love that. I've learned a lot about love marriage versus arranged marriages. Because I have friends who, I'll ask them, did you have a love marriage or did you have an arranged marriage?
Right.
And you find both. But so there's this magical part of Dubai where 85% of the city is expats and only 15% are locals. So you get people quite literally from around the globe,
Okay.
which makes dating here very
Which
interesting.
part, which part of
Because
Dubai is that? The old side or the new side?
so all of the UAE, so all of United Arab Emirates is made up of expats.
Okay.
And so you find expats everywhere.
Right.
And so there's different dating apps that, I mean, they're the same as in the US, Bumble,
Mm,
Hinge.
okay.
Those are the main ones because Tinder is banned here. Um,
Is is
and
is is
so,
the dating app the most efficient, or is it just that's what everybody's doing now? I've never been on a
well,
dating app,
that's
so I don't know.
don't do it.
I,
Just kidding. I know
I
I know lots of people meet people that way. I have some friends. I have a really good friend that met his wife on Bumble. And so he's like, you've got to get on Bumble because it just takes one swipe with the right person for it to be right. And so I'm notorious for going on the dating apps and lasting about 3 or 4 days and getting off of them and taking a break. And then I'm like, okay, I'll try again. And then it's just the same thing. So I would much rather meet somebody, as I call out in the wild, and
yes,
just life, right? And not a dating app. But it's hard because Dubai is really spread out, and how do you really meet people? And so I feel like if it's going to happen for me, it's got to be like a friend of a friend or something like
exactly.
that, because I just can't. The dating apps are just brutal. Maybe they're not as brutal when you're younger. I don't know. But in my age bracket,
They are.
I
My
just,
my daughter, my
it's
oldest daughter
tough.
is 31, and she said, "Mom, it's horrible." She said last week, she told me, she said, "You're right. I've deleted every single app that I
Yeah.
own." She said this last experience, because she's one of those people, if she meets somebody and before she even allows them to take her to dinner, she does a background check on them. And the last
Yeah.
background check she did, she sent me the list of all these things from this very nice looking young man. And she said after that, she decided she's deleting every single app that she had. And I said, well, you know, back in my day, we just, like you said, meet them out in the wild. And it's like,
That's right.
the energy you can tell and all of that. I
Yeah.
always joked with her and said, I don't do dating apps because I feel like that's where the killer is. Not I've said that to her for 10 years now. And she's just like, man, the background checks that she has. She's like, we need to do a whole podcast on that. And I'm like, okay. So
Yeah. It's
you're kind of old
rough.
fashioned and traditional like me, so I can absolutely understand that because
Yeah.
it is scary. But yeah, there are some absolutely beautiful men in Dubai from my
Yes, there are.
of what I saw. And I'm biased, I have to tell you, because I love a bearded man.
Oh,
And
yeah.
everything I saw was bearded, bearded, bearded. So I'm a little skewed and I'm a little biased. So you may not want to listen to me, but they were gorgeous. I have so many pictures in my phone of me and so many so many beautiful men. It's
I
like
know. And they're so beautifully well groomed. So they
so
take
beautifully well
such
groomed.
good care of themselves. They're
Teeth so nice
beautiful,
and
beautiful people.
yeah,
Yes.
absolutely, absolutely.
Very beautiful.
Yeah. So community.
Yeah.
Let's talk about community. How are you building community where you are? Because of course you left your hometown. You came to a new place. You've got your kids with you and everything. And we do everything we can, of course, for our children, but we also have to be nourished ourselves. So what are you doing to
Absolutely.
build, yeah, to build community where you are so that for your long haul, you 5 years from now, you still have a great group of friends. How are you doing that?
So originally, when I first arrived, it was through my work, right?
Mhm.
Because I didn't know anybody else. And then thankfully, some of my work friends introduced me to some of their friends, and you sort of just grow from there. And you can meet people, and you're like, oh, well, my energy doesn't quite connect with their energy.
Right,
There's
right.
not anything necessarily wrong with them, but and what is so amazing about Dubai,
Mhm.
again, because it's so expat heavy, is a lot of people remember being the new guy and they remember being on their own. And so they're
Right.
very welcoming
Yeah.
into their friend group. And I have one friend group in particular where I went to a party, a
Mhm.
Christmas party, and I just connected with everyone. They were just such an amazing bunch of people, and they added me to their WhatsApp group chat.
Oh,
And
awesome.
then I got invited to a brunch, and then of course I went. And so I've gone to things alone, even though maybe I only know one person. I've really put myself out of my comfort zone because you have to, and you have to just get into the uncomfortable. But then they just embraced me and said, "Well, you're family now." It's just because we don't have family here, we choose our family.
Exactly.
And so it's just been really beautiful. And then I met my best friend here who I would have never met her. She's from England,
Okay.
and she had a tragedy happen to her. Her partner unexpectedly passed away from a heart attack very young.
Mhm.
And she thank goodness she lived in my neighborhood. And of course I reached out to her and asked her if she was all right. She said she was not, and could I come over and sit with her?
Mm,
And I was so glad that she asked, because I think it's very difficult for us to ask for help. I really do,
it is.
especially if we're hyper independent.
Hmm.
And so she asked for help, and we have been inseparable since. And she and I are so much alike, it's kind of scary. And we're able to share our vulnerabilities and share things that we wouldn't normally share with people. And we celebrate the holidays together. Her
Nice.
birthday's on Friday. Like,
Nice.
she came to my son's birthday was Saturday. She came to his party, and now every day it's, how are you doing? What are you doing today? It's it's the good morning and the good night text that you are like wishing that someone would send you, I found in a best friend
Right.
because people need connection. We're made for connection. We're built for connection. And when you are in a new place, it becomes a really imperative that you put yourself out there, which can be very scary. I
Very.
fully recognize that. I've tried to connect with some people and it didn't really work.
Yeah.
There's a lot of expat meetups that people can go to, lots of
Okay.
Facebook groups that kind of connect you with commonalities and interests that you can join. I joined one for moms in Dubai.
Oh,
I joined one
nice.
for Americans in Dubai, things
Uh-huh.
like that. And that's how you build your community. And then you just, meet for a coffee one day and see if you connect and then it starts from there, right? It's like a little seed.
That's good. And the fact that you are taking the opportunity to put yourself out there and build that community, because like you said, we all want that hello and how are you? Let's go get some tea or some coffee or something like that so that you don't feel all alone. Because yeah, we love
Yeah.
again, we love I have 4 kids, so we love our kids. Don't get us wrong.
Yeah,
But
of
we
course.
personally have to have our own
Yeah,
adult friends where we can have adult conversations. So I
of
love you
course.
are looking at all of those opportunities. I never thought about the moms in part because I'm a weird person. When I visit somewhere, I'm always going to look on Meetup to see if there's like a women's business professional type of thing, or
Yep.
and I'll go to lunch or something. And I'm like, oh, I'm from Texas, and yeah, everybody else is from either there or other places. Or if I look up a Meetup and there's like a expo or something, or if there's a market thing going on, or I'm always going to try to involve myself in something that's more localized or whatever.
Yeah.
So I love that
Yep.
you're doing that because it sounds like you're having a really great time over there with the company, and I'm glad
It's
that you
amazing.
that same company. Is there a plan B for business just in case?
Yeah, I mean, I've been in HR for 20, it's when I admit how long it's been, it's nearly 23 years.
Yeah.
That's a really long time. And I'm very lucky. I've had a really nice eclectic HR background where I've gotten to do a lot of different things.
Oh, good.
I would love to do some consulting, some HR consulting work. I'm kind of dabbling in that a little bit. And actually I just a side a side gig, if you will. Um, I just started becoming a quiz master. So quiz nights are big in Dubai, like really big, where you get your friends and you go to these pubs and you get a couple drinks and some food and you win these really great prizes. And it's just kind of something that's been a little bit of like this dream for me. And I met this guy who was a quiz master from Texas.
Uh-huh.
So I went up to him after and said, "Oh my gosh, you're American. How'd you get into this? I really want to do this." And he just has mentored me. So, I mean, he's just been an outstanding mentor. I just landed my first gig and I start April 10th being a quiz master.
Yeah.
And so I'll work my full-time job, of course.
Yeah.
And
But the
then
quiz
on
masters are
Thursday
usually like
nights,
after hours, right?
yep,
Yeah.
Thursday nights.
I
Yeah,
was
Thursday
asked to
nights. So
do that about 2 years ago, and
oh, you should do it.
well, I was looking at the locations, and because they really needed some. I live in Katy, Texas, outside of Houston, and I was looking at what they were offering, and I was like, I don't know if I want to be out at nighttime for it. It wasn't
Yeah, sure.
significant enough for me to do it. But
Yeah.
when it comes
Yeah.
to like if I was in a different country and I was building relationships or friendships there, I would
Yeah.
absolutely do it. But I was just like, I work all day. I have my own business, so I'm at home, but I didn't know if I wanted to do it. And it was so new in my head, I didn't know what it was about. And
Yeah.
they told me, well, you should maybe go and visit and see how it works. Because you love people, you like to have fun, you're great on a stage, you have a personality, you tell jokes, you do all that, you can make it really fun. And I'm like, you know what, I might think about it. You know how sometimes you shelve things and then you come back around to it in maybe
Yep.
3 to 5 years or something like that. So that's gonna be
Yep.
cool. So you did your
Yeah.
first one already?
So I did one for my company. They had me host a quiz for my company. It was so much fun that afterwards one of our people from our headquarters in Paris said, "You should be a game show host. I'm not sure why you're working in HR." I said, "Well, thank you." And it kind of planted a seed, right? And so my first official one at the hotel that booked me is April 10th, and they contracted me for 3 months to do everything Thursday night. So I'm super excited about it.
That's awesome.
Super
But
excited. I'm going to meet. I'm going to meet so many people and have so much fun.
You are. You can always gamify
Yeah.
HR though. You can,
That is
and that can
that
be an
is very
absolute niche
true.
because when most people think of HR,
That's
they
very
think of
true.
boring sitting in front of a computer and working with numbers and applications and stuff. But you can always gamify that HR department and be like
Yeah.
clean in that. That's awesome.
That's right. That's right.
Let's talk about food. Now,
Yeah.
you'd never been to Dubai before you got there. So when you got there, was there anything that people kept saying, well, you should try this or you should try that? And, you should try this and things that you're like, I didn't even know I was gonna like that.
Yes. Many things.
Oh, good.
S- Many, many things. So, and I'll tell you what has been super cool. My youngest son, who just turned 15 yesterday,
Hmm.
he is the kid that will go to the grocery store and he'll say, what is this? I'm like, I don't know. And he'll say, well, can we buy it and
Right,
try it? And
right.
he will try anything,
Mhm.
candies,
Yeah.
chips, things like that. But there is a dessert that's called kanafa, and
Mhm.
it is so you've heard of the Dubai chocolate, I'm sure.
Yeah, with the
And
dates
the
and everything.
kanafa,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So there's this chocolate bar that has the kanafa in it, but it is this it's cheese and then this like really finely thin dough with pistachios in the center and you pour a sugar syrup on top of it and the first
Oh,
time I saw it was like cheese and dough and sugar syrup and I thought this sounds really weird but people kept telling me you've got to try it, you've got to try it, you've got to try it, and so I tried it and it is, oh my gosh, it's so good. It's so delicious. And also, and actually when I went home last summer, I made my family a huge Arabic dinner because I wanted my family to know what I was eating. And so I made homemade hummus,
ooh.
which I didn't know. I mean, homemade hummus is so good. I liked hummus before, but
No,
like
no, I
the
liked it better
real
when I was little.
deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Oh man, it's so good. So I love hummus. And then I've tried a lot of different meats on barbecue,
Right,
skewers
right,
that
right.
they do. And then we have so much Indian food here
Mm.
because we have a lot of Indians that I didn't know that biryani rice was so good. Chicken biryani is so good. And traditionally in India you eat with your fingers.
Hmm.
And so I want to, anytime I'm in somewhere that is authentic, I want to eat the way that they're eating. So I went to Saudi Arabia for work one time, and we went into a restaurant that we had to actually ask if I could come in because we weren't sure. And then we asked if I could stay, and they said yes. Nobody spoke English, but we just asked them on a translator, and they
Right.
said yes, she can come in. And my employee that was with me said, "Are you comfortable?" And I said, "Yeah, I'm comfortable. Let's go." And I let him order all the food. And there were these lamb skewers that you dipped in a blueberry sauce
Oh,
that are really
interesting.
traditional, and they were so good. So things like that I would have never tried. Like I don't typically like lamb, but it was so good the way it was prepared. Um, and basically, what I told my children is this is how we eat now, and this is how we drive now, and this is how we get around, at
Hmm.
least for now. And so um, I've tried, I mean, I've tried Arabic food, I've tried Indian food, I've tried Pakistani food,
Hmm.
um,
And
all these
before
different
that, you've
restaurants that
never
we have.
tried any of that, right?
None of it. I mean,
Mhm.
I'd have butter chicken. That's it. Butter chicken, India, butter and
Yeah,
naan bread, but
yeah, yeah.
nothing else. I'd never had anything else before. And I've just tried everything to try it.
And the kids love it too.
Yeah, they love it and they'll try everything. And we're lucky because we have McDonald's. It tastes
Yeah,
different, but we still have McDonald's. We have
yeah.
Kentucky Fried Chicken. We have Burger King. So there's some things like that that you can get a burger and stuff like that. But all the really traditional foods we never had before. But I took my kids to there's a cultural center down in Old Dubai,
Yep.
and they do an Emirati dinner and they explain the clothing and they explain the food and they explain the history of Dubai.
I went to
Wasn't sure
that.
if my boys were gonna like it. Oh, yes,
I
they
have
loved
so many
it. They
pictures, and we went into
absolutely
the,
loved it. Yeah.
I don't know what the name of the
Did you go
one.
into the mosque?
We did go to the mosque, and we went to
Yeah.
in the old Dubai. That's why I asked you when you said about different expat areas, and I was just gonna say
Yeah.
to the new. part of Dubai. It was nice and fancy and techy and very showy, but I actually enjoyed the old Dubai better.
Old Dubai is
I
amazing. You
enjoy,
feel
and
like
I
you
don't know
stepped
why
back in time.
exactly, but it reminded me so
Oh,
much.
it's
It
amazing.
reminded me so much of downtown Manhattan, because I saw the subway and the buses and all that. And I was just standing in the
Yeah.
street and I was just looking left and right. And I said, man, this has that old New York feel, not the new New York now, but that old
Yeah.
New York feel. And I went, I had to compare. I said, I think I like Old Dubai better. But we went into that
Yep.
cultural center where we sat and had the tea and all of that. So yeah, it was really great. I know your kids enjoyed it
Yeah.
as well.
They did. They enjoyed it. They loved it. It was so good. And they had only traditional foods there, and my kids ate everything.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so exciting.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for your kids and because they're gonna have such an
Yeah.
amazing story to tell. They're gonna just have
Yeah.
so much to be able to share. They're gonna be so thankful for this later to say, oh
Yeah.
my gosh, because a lot of people do feel like if they're born in a particular place, they're just supposed to stay there and that's the end of the
Yeah.
story. But that literally is just
Right.
a comma. That is not the end of the story.
That's right.
Because
That's
I've only
right.
been to two places that I was like, oh, I could live here. And that was Honduras and that was the Middle East. Those are the only two. And I've been
Yeah.
all over the world. I literally thought before 2023, I thought, you know what? When I get ready to make a move, if I decide, I think I want to go to Thailand. And I said, you know what? Let me go visit Thailand. So I went to Thailand for about 21 days. And when I got home, I said, I'm gonna take that off my list. It didn't give my soul the oomph that I needed.
Yeah.
So
Right.
I know that I can't live there because it didn't do it. It didn't do it, the big IT. It didn't do it for me, So you have to
Right.
go and you have to visit and you have to see if that's the place or if it's always, like you said, been a dream of yours to be able to be in another country or something. You know that you're going to be led to that place. Like you said, you went to that conference. You weren't thinking
Yeah.
that they were looking for your talent, right?
Oh,
So
yeah,
it
no
tells me
way.
that that was divine. You were supposed to be at that conference.
Yep.
You were supposed to hear that message. You were supposed to beat out that other person, even though you thought they would be the more affordable choice. Guess what? You were
Yep.
the one that were chosen.
Yep.
That's really awesome.
That's right. And on Thanksgiving, I took my kids to a Thanksgiving dinner and I asked my kids again, so tell me, we have the tradition, what are you thankful for? And my 17-year-old said, because I thought he was going to say his girlfriend or something, number one out of his mouth, Mom, I'm so grateful you moved us here. You
See,
could have tipped me over with a feather, right? So you're absolutely right. The things that they have learned here will fundamentally change them for the good.
it will, and that's going to be a beautiful thing.
Yep.
Let's talk about family. Does your family
Yep.
in the U.S. get an opportunity to come and visit you, or has there been any other family members that are like, hey, can I come move over there too?
No one's asked to move, but my brother, so for Christmas, my sister-in-law asked if she could give my brother a trip to Dubai for Christmas, and I said yes. And they were supposed to come in April, but the timing just didn't quite work. So they're going to come in the fall.
Okay.
So they'll be the first family to come. I've had friends come
Oh,
from the
good.
US and visit. I even had my old boss from Brussels and his husband come and visit, which was so fun. So I've had some friends come, and it's so fun to show them like our way of living. But my family, I talked to my dad in February and said, Dad, you guys have got to come. And he said, Yeah, we've really got to. I hope they come. I don't know if they will.
Yeah.
My older sister hates flying. So she said, You're too far away.
Yeah.
So that's okay. But I have friends that have plans to come this next year. So I'm hoping that they'll come. My nephew's coming in the summer
Oh,
for
nice.
his birthday and my son's 18th birthday. So that will be fun. So hopefully they'll make it. But it takes from the time we leave our house to the time we get to my mom and dad's, it's about 25 hours of travel.
Yeah.
So it's far away, but it's worth it, and hopefully more people will come. But
Yeah, that is a long way because I think my flight was straight flight was 14 hours or something like that. But
yeah,
I've been
right
on
from
a 28
Houston.
hour flight to Japan, so I know how brutal it
Yeah,
can be, and especially if
yeah, it's pretty brutal.
certain days, it's like the young kids hate it and the older individuals hate it. And I can understand,
Yeah,
your butt does get a little
yeah,
stiff sitting in the seat the whole time
yeah, it
there.
sure does. You're right.
That is so beautiful that now the friends and the ex-boss and all of those people, did they enjoy themselves?
Oh yes. Oh my gosh.
Because they
Yes.
know.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
They know what a
Yes.
good place it is. Okay. Well, that's awesome.
Yes. In fact, my boss is coming back. He just messaged me last night and said,
See?
we really want to come back. So they're coming back in
See?
May. I'm so excited.
So
Yeah.
2 weeks before I was getting ready to, think about if I wanted to stay longer, about 2 days before it was time for me to go, I was literally sitting there going, I need another 2 weeks. I need another 2 weeks. I need another 2 weeks.
Yeah.
On the plane, all I could say is, I'm just going to put a trip together because I have to show people. I'm just going to put a trip together for family and friends, and we're going. We're going again. December's weather was beautiful, so I just chose we're going to go back in
Oh,
December.
it's perfect.
Yeah, that's when I was there, and it was perfect to me. And I said, I'm just going to
So
put a trip together
perfect.
because I cannot wait to go back. And I may go back, by myself even before then, but I want to take them back and show them the seven Emirates. And I love Qatar so much, so we're going to definitely visit Doha again. But I just I just wouldn't even think that I'm never coming back. That was not even a thought. I was
Yeah.
been planning on the way back and saying, I really didn't want to leave. I really didn't want to leave. It was,
Yeah.
I loved every
It's
moment of it.
amazing.
And I felt so safe. I went
Yes, it's
everywhere by myself.
extremely
I was
safe.
walking in the, I did not even, and I know I'm very intuitive in my areas. I did not feel one inkling of, well, you better not go down that alley in that market because, something. I didn't even have that thought in my head. It wasn't even
Yep.
consideration. My soul didn't feel, afraid. It was really great. So, I never had a
Yep.
fear of not feeling safe. So I would, like for you to expand a little bit on that. I know that you've been
Yeah.
there almost 2 years, so how has it felt for you? Because I don't want them to just hear it from me. I only visited once. You lived there.
Yeah. So, I spent the first 5 weeks here by myself because my kids were finishing the school year. And so I found a car on my own. I found my house on my own. I furnished it by myself. I did everything by myself. And I never once felt like I'm alone. I have to go do that. I was like, yeah, I jumped in a taxi and I did it. I rode the metro and I did it. I I I wanted before my kids got here, I wanted to ride in a taxi. I wanted to ride the bus. I wanted to ride the metro. I
But it
wanted to
worked.
ride everything so I knew how it worked so I could teach my children.
Exactly.
My kids have such independence here because it's so safe.
See?
My 15-year-old will get in a taxi and go wherever he wants to go. My 17-year-old gets in a taxi and meets his friends. They ride the metro to me after school. There is this amazing bit that they never would have gotten in the US. And then for me, I'll go out with my friends and I will get in a taxi and never feel like this
Exactly.
is shady. And
Exactly.
then we were here, my kids had probably been here 2 weeks, and I went grocery shopping and I drove to a store that was pretty far away because it's an expat store that has lots of things from the US and from the UK.
Right, right.
So I drove over there, it's 30 minutes away. I got home, I unloaded the groceries, and I thought, oh my gosh, I don't have my wallet. And there was cash in it and my Emirates ID and my US driver's license. And I thought, oh my gosh. And then I thought, wait a second.
Yeah.
Everyone's told me Dubai is super safe. So I drove all the way back to the grocery store and I walked in and said, I left my wallet. And she said, you left it in the trolley. Here you go. And gave me my wallet.
That
Everything
would
was
have
there. My cash
never
was
happened
there.
in the US. I'll take that back. It would
Exactly.
have happened, no, yeah, maybe, but no.
I've also left my cell phone in a taxi, and the taxi driver, there was a taxi driver, because I have a US cell phone and I have a UAE cell phone, and I left my US cell phone and I was devastated because there are apps on my US cell phone that I can't get on my UAE cell phone,
Right,
like that
right.
keeps me in touch with my family. And I was like, oh my gosh, my cell phone's gone forever. Well, I called it and the taxi driver heard it.
Mhm.
So he opened it up and called my SOS contact, which was my mom, called her and said, I have your cell phone. And my mom said, oh, you've called the United States, but my daughter happened to be at my mom and dad's. And so she talked to the guy, told her, oh, no, this is where my mom lives. And he drove my cell phone all the way back and would not charge me for a taxi ride. So I gave him money to say thank you so much, but he just did it because he said, I knew you would be scared about your cell phone. And he drove it back to me. Like, where else does that happen? It doesn't. That's the magic of this place. Like,
That's
it's
what
so misunderstood.
I'm saying.
And
That's what
that's the kind of stuff that happens every single day here. It's so amazing.
That's what I want to show people is that you've been lied to. You've been told so
Yeah.
from people who want you to be afraid to travel and want you to be afraid of certain cultures and want you to be afraid of places that are so far away from you. But when you get there, your soul knows and your spirit knows. You
Yeah.
see it in action, so you can't deny
Yeah.
it. I never had one.
Yeah.
But then I've been to places that people are like, you shouldn't go there, you shouldn't do that, or you shouldn't, especially not by yourself. And I'm just like, okay, I'll find out. I'll find out. I feel safe. I've been protected for so long. Why would I not be protected now? Like, what would be the reason? That's kind of
Yeah.
how my brain thinks. So that's pretty awesome. So let's talk about work and not specifically the work that you're doing now. What are some of the other things that you're doing? I know you talked about the game night. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
About being in HR and being in talent acquisition, I think you said, right? For
I am.
for half your life.
Yes,
Yeah,
that's right. That's
I was
right.
looking at you said you've been doing that for 23 years and I said okay she's 47. Oh, she started young. That's what my brain.
Yeah, I graduated 25. Yeah.
I know that you said
Yeah.
you're working on a book. So let's talk about some of those other things that you're doing because that's the one thing I was telling you women are always saying that, they don't think they'll be able to find a husband. And what if the work that I go here for doesn't sustain me or I'm not able to find a job online or things like that?
Yeah. So, and I can speak from the recruiter inside of me because I think I was just naturally born to do that. I'm really thankful for my job because it brought me here and it gives me really great benefits. And I work with some of the most outstanding people. Um, but I also know that my children's roles are not to fulfill me as a woman. And they're amazing, they're wonderful, but they are not. That's not their job. It's my job to find the things that light me on fire and to generate the energy that I want and to be in my feminine energy. And so I've looked for other things. Yes, it's fun that I can make money. I write people's resumes for them, and I can do it really. I've been a recruiter for so long. I can do it pretty fast, and I make a little bit of extra money. That's nice. That doesn't necessarily light me on fire. It's something I can do, but I've decided when I got here that I was going to try stuff that I'd never tried before. And
Hmm.
I was going to see what I like because what if I just never gave it a go? And so I'm not a big New Year's resolution person. So what I decided to do this in 2024, January 24, and I did it again this year, was write a list of the year of Jen Kusch and what do I want to try? Like kickboxing
Hmm.
and find a personal trainer.
Hmm.
And so I wanted to physically get myself moving, but then I wanted to try watercolor painting. I I've always told myself I can't draw, I can't do anything, but that's not true. So I tried watercolor painting and I love it. So I started painting cards. I never did that before. I just wanted to try it. And sure enough, I'm actually pretty decent at it. And so I make cards for people, and that brings me more joy than I ever could have expressed. And my kids will sit with me and they'll paint with me, or they'll go and do these things. But I've put myself out there. I signed up to take a belly dancing class,
Oh
which,
my gosh, I went to a belly dancing thing when I was there, and it was so exciting out in the desert in Dubai.
right?
And oh my gosh, it was so amazing. I've always seen it on TV and things like that, but to see it up close is just so much joy and fun.
Yes, right? And like stuff like that I would never have done before. So then I decided I'm gonna write a book about my experience in the Middle East. And I started writing some LinkedIn
Good.
articles on lessons I've learned in the Middle East because I've learned a lot here. And so I've started writing some of those articles. I'm working on a workshop that's a self-love mirror workshop
Hmm.
that I want women to realize that their worth is not connected to what they look like, but their worth is connected to their goodness inside of them. And we forget that a lot, I think. And, there's so much pressure to be perfect and look a certain way and all these things. And I've come a really long way in Dubai. I'll tell you what, Dubai's quite fake in that, in a lot of ways, where you can get really caught up in that lifestyle. But I live a pretty quiet life and a pretty, I'm not super exciting. Um, but I have learned how to truly, really love who I am. And if I can help another woman to fall in love with themselves, it's not about finding a husband, it's about finding yourself. And then the divine gives you things that you didn't even know you wanted. And whether you have a partner or you don't, it's learning to love life and what it throws at you, because I have had some experiences that have been devastating
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
I've learned from them. But I am I love it's part of who I am, and it's part of what's got me to today. And so if I can then turn around and help another woman to see a glimpse of how other people see them and the love that I, for them to figure that out, then I've fulfilled a life's mission. And so I do these other things that keep me going. I have my day job. I'm grateful for it.
Yes, yes.
These other things just light me on fire. I feel like that's what I was put on the earth to do, and to give back to people, because the only way I can give back to people that have gotten me to this point is to then turn around and try and help someone else.
Absolutely. Now, is it pretty easy to buy a home in Dubai?
I'm not, I think so. I think you have to have, so there's construction going on everywhere.
I know.
And
I
so you
saw
can put down money. Yeah, you did. It's everywhere.
a
You
lot of
can put down
construction.
money on those. Yeah. So you can put money down on those, and then you get you're the off taker once they're done. I mean, there's stuff for sale. The majority of people rent here
Okay.
because it's so transient.
Okay.
Most people rent. I still own a home in the US. So my house is there, but then I just rent here.
Okay. Now, are you renting out your house that's in the US?
I am.
Okay, cool. So I know in the beginning you said you had a dream of living in a penthouse on a whatever floor. Is that what you ended up doing? Getting a penthouse?
So, what's funny is I told my kids I found this apartment that I wanted that was right on, like, near the water at the marina.
The
And I told my
marina
kids,
is
this is,
beautiful.
I
Oh,
know,
it
it's
gave me
so
that Miami
beautiful.
feel, with all the boats and
Oh, yeah, it's totally Miami.
yeah.
So I showed them that, and they said, no, 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 we don't want to live in that. So I compromised, I guess, for my kids, and I actually found a villa. So we live in a villa. We live in a 4 bedroom, three and a half bathroom villa with a little backyard. We have a dog. And so for us, it works out really well. However, when my son, the one that's 17, when he leaves and it's just me and my youngest, we're going to go and live in a skyscraper, which will be the last piece of my dream. But
Okay.
I brought all 3 kids here, and so I had 3 kids and a dog, so we got a villa instead.
Okay, that's awesome. Now, let me ask you this. Now, you've lived in the US, so you know what the prices for a 4 bedroom, 3 bedroom house would be. What's the cost to rent one in Dubai?
So it's double my mortgage. But granted, I lived in Idaho Falls, so I think it's pretty comparable to a big city like a New York City. I think the rents are pretty. So it's interesting. We do this kind of thing where prior to COVID, rent was really, really low. And then during COVID, a lot of people moved to Dubai, and it's no longer a
Yeah.
hardship
What
city.
was it before
And
COVID?
so it was like a third of the cost.
I know, but what's the cost before COVID?
So yeah, so I mean, like, you could get a villa for maybe $1,100 a month.
Yeah, so my son lives in a 1 bedroom apartment in Texas for 1650 a month. That's my point to
Yeah,
include because a lot of people are
yeah,
afraid that they're not going to get that cost that and that's why I look at so many videos and talk to so many people because folks need to know what
yeah,
those costs are going to be. That's a steal.
yeah. So my rent is a little over 3,000 a month. And the way that rents work in Dubai is you have to pay your annual rent up front. So you
Oh,
either have to
so
pay
if it's
in
a
one
thousand
check,
dollars a month, you got to pay all the way 12 months.
you have to pay everything up front. You either can pay in one check or 2 checks.
Smart. I like it.
Um, And so I pay my rent up front. So that's what I do. And some landlords will let you split it, but then they charge you an extra fee. But I'll tell you that although my housing is more, and my car is about the same,
Yeah.
fuel is a little bit cheaper, but
Yeah.
the more local you buy for food and things like that, the less expensive it is. And so, yes, certain things are more expensive, but in other ways, other things are just as affordable. Eggs are cheaper in Dubai than they are in the US. Um, but you just, and you kind of learn like which grocery stores are less expensive and where the deals are. And when I come home, we raid Walmart and Target and buy all our, clothes and stuff that we need and
Yeah.
pack it back in suitcases back
I bet.
and make it last. So yeah, rent is quite expensive. However, you can get a decent one bedroom apartment for just over 1,000 a month.
Now, are the
But
penthouse the
I
same?
have so many people that I have to take care of. No, the penthouses are like outrageously expensive. I bet they're
They're so beautiful, though. I
10.
mean, they're
Oh yeah.
absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful, especially if you're talking about being by that marina, waking up every morning and being able to look out. I mean, come on.
Yeah, yeah. The marina is really expensive. Really expensive. Yeah.
You're probably what,
Like
five or
I
six
couldn't
thousand dollars a
get,
month?
yeah, probably so if you're looking at especially one of those nice apartments. Yeah, for sure. They're very expensive. And the traffic is horrific because there's one way in, one way out.
No, I know. We went through there and I was just like, I didn't even think, I didn't even think about traffic. But then when I started seeing the construction, I said, okay, it's all the same. Just like the US, there's all traffic. Even when we went over to Bahrain, traffic, traffic, traffic. But there was so much construction going on. And I was
Yeah.
like there are big things on the horizon. Now I'm gonna tell you, we were in one part of Dubai. I mean, not Dubai, but in one part of the UAE, and we were at the McDonald's going. The ladies had to go to the restroom, and there was a McDonald's right there, and she said, "Right over there is the border for Saudi Arabia." I wanted to go so bad. I want to visit
Yeah,
Saudi
Saudi's
Arabia, just
amazing.
just to visit, and I've heard that it's very welcoming and all of those. I know
They are.
they've got that big huge project that they're working on, but
Yeah.
when I looked it up and I saw that, okay, they have a Marriott hotel. Okay, great. I can go. Let's go visit. I'm real picky. So I'm like, okay, I can go visit. But how did you like it in Saudi Arabia?
So it's Saudi Arabia is interesting because in some ways I felt like I stepped back in time. Um, and in other ways, they really are welcoming toward Americans. They've got Dunkin' Donuts on every corner.
You're kidding me.
They
Wow.
no,
I would have
they
never thought
love
that.
American brands. Same. I was driving around Riyadh thinking that's like the fifth Dunkin' Donuts I've seen from the airport to my hotel.
Oh, wow.
Um,
That's a lot.
they were yeah, they were incredibly welcoming, incredibly welcoming. Um, and what's really cool is women in Saudi are, joining the workforce and they can drive now on their own. And
Seen that
and I
video.
remember, yeah, we have this female program that we have at work where it's a technical training ground for females, and we hired a bunch of the females that went through our technical program. And my boss at the time said, you're here to rewrite the history of women in the Middle East. And I was like, I'm in. What do I need to do? And so I saw that a lot in Saudi, but they were so kind and gracious. And I'll tell you that the country that rolled out the red carpet for me to arrive that I was amazed at is Oman.
I
The
love
Omani,
Oman. Oh, I love
wow.
Oman. Oh,
I am I am taking my boys to Oman for spring break, and I am so excited to show them a new country, a country that they never would have seen before. And the whole Middle East is full of good people. And the Omanis, especially, I've never been. I mean, I felt like I was a celebrity. They were amazing. And Saudi, the same. I was really surprised at Saudi Arabia. It was really, really welcoming. It
yeah.
was
I'm
amazing.
glad to hear that because I'm planning to go and
Oh, you'll love it.
I already know I'm supposed to go, but to hear you say that really, really kind of
Yeah.
extra confidence. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think I got a chance to visit 5 of the Emirates, but I know there's 7. So that's why when I go back, I'm planning because I didn't realize how close they all were there together and that you could
Yeah,
get
they're very close.
from one to the other, and some are 20 minutes from
Yep.
the field. So I didn't realize that until I was on the airplane and I was looking at a map, planning. I'm getting back, I'm getting back. And I was like, I would love to bring a group of people to be able to visit all 7 of the Emirates. So yeah, Oman was really amazing. But again, each place had its own little extra amazing part about it. Where it's like, oh, I had a
Yeah.
there, but oh, when I went there, that was also amazing. So
Yep.
I was quite excited to go to each location and to get out and meet people,
Yep.
do things, and to, visit the old and the new and the mosques and all of those
Yep.
things. And I think that big mosque that we went to, the big white one, that one,
In Abu Dhabi,
Dhabi. Oh my God, they're so beautiful.
the Grand Mosque in Abu Dhabi.
They're taking pictures. Yeah. Just to look at that big
Yeah.
chandelier and like, oh my gosh, my walls wouldn't even hold that.
I
So
know it's so beautiful. It's breathtaking.
and so many great people were there. And the one thing I was telling people when I got back, I said, I didn't hear any loud craziness. I didn't see people being rude to each other. I didn't see any arguments. I didn't see anything wild and crazy. I didn't see negativity. I didn't feel any of it. I said the vibe was high. I'm telling you, the vibe was high. I could feel it every single day as I'm out and about, no matter which part I was in. I'm like, the vibe is high. You won't know it. And I keep saying you won't know it until you get there. You're not going to know till you get there. So that's why I want to take the people back to, that travel with me to see. Even my daughters are like, we're going. I'm like, okay, everybody, give me a
Yeah.
chance. If you got other friends who want to go, here's what it's going to typically cost for us to do it. And they're like, okay, start saving now. December will be,
Yep.
we blink too hard,
Yep.
December will be here.
That's right. That's right. It's so true.
Well, thank you, Jan, for being my guest for today. And I so appreciate Now say your last name for me.
Kush.
Kush. Okay, I thought that's what it was, but I didn't want to mess it up because I was going to say Kirsch, and then I go, no, I don't think so. Thank you so much for being my guest.
Kush.
And I have loved talking with you about it and just that connection. And oh, let me tell you one thing. When you just said a few minutes ago that you wanted to do some things for yourself, I got a chill because I too had that same idea about, and I can't even draw a straight line, right?
Yeah.
And one day I got up and I said, I just want to draw hearts. I don't know why. I had a company that was called Caring Hearts. And just everything, whenever I travel, I buy necklaces with anything with hearts. So I went to the Hobby Lobby and I got some canvas and some paint and all that. My son was just like, because he's the artist in the family, he's like, what are you doing? I'm like, mind your business. And so I started just doing these little hearts and I got it out of my system. And I was like, that was really cool. So I love that the idea of do what it is that you want to do. Fulfill some of those, and it doesn't have to be work related. It doesn't have to be anybody else related. It could be that thing that you want to experience and that you want to try and that you want to, have. Okay, got that on my list of things. And I love also that you're creating a book or some type of material blog, whatever, to show people what you've learned. Because I'm one of those people that whenever I travel, I always create a little booklet and it's going to be day by day. And what photos are going to be my top photos that I'll post and all of that. And then at the end, it's always, so what did I learn today? How many people did I meet today? What was the highlight of the day? And so I just kind of use those books as my later reference for when I travel. Because what happened is I go so many places that I don't want to get this mixed up with that. So if I'm unsure about something, I
Yeah.
just grab my little book. Like my book from the Middle East was that thick because we had so many places I went to. And so when I
Yeah.
go back and I look at that and I'm just like so amazed. I'm still rolling out pictures from December that people haven't seen that they're like, "Do you have any more pictures from Dubai?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And I post them on my travel page and they're just like, "I want to go." And I'm like, "Get your dollars together. I've sent you the paper." But it's just
I love it.
yeah, I love that you took the chance to the opportunity to take your kids. And I'm so happy that they love it because you would think,
Yeah.
you're ruining my life, Mom. My friends are here. Not even thinking, but I can make new friends and still stay in touch with my old friends. So I love that about it.
That's right.
It was
That's
really,
right.
it,
And
it's
their circle is just expanded.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is going to be such an amazing
Yeah.
testimony in the future that your kids will be able to say,
Yeah.
my mom did this and I thought it was going to ruin my life. And that might be on their wedding day or something. Everybody say, I thought this was going to ruin my life, but
Right.
if it wasn't for
That's
my
right.
mom, I wouldn't have met so and so, or, I wouldn't have been able to get this
That's
job because
right.
I met that person. You just never know how it's going to work out. So I love your story of,
So
what,
true.
put yourself out there and see what happens. And it seems
Yeah.
like to me, every step you took, it got you where you are. So it was meant for you. That to me
Absolutely.
I'm
That's right.
excited about that for you. So, congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
You are so welcome.
Thank
Thank you so
you.
much
Thank
for
you so much. Thank you.
I have enjoyed talking with you and just learning more about you. Again, I get excited when I get to meet new people, and it's been really good. So thank you so much for being my guest today. Is there anything you'd like to leave our
Thank you. Thank you again for having me.
You're welcome. Is there any last thing that you'd like to leave our
Yeah.
viewers?
I think the thing that I hope resonates with your listeners, whoever takes the time to listen to this story, is that I think just being open to what is out there for you. It's the growth mindset, right? And the universe, God, whatever it is that you higher power that you believe in, I think we limit ourselves when we think, oh, I can't put myself out there because I think we miss out. We miss out on blessings that a higher power has for us. And you don't even know what goodness is waiting for you if you just are open to receiving
Right, right.
new opportunities and getting out of your comfort zone. And it doesn't have to be moving 8,000 miles away. It can be something small, but
Mhm.
going after it and not being too scared and not feeling like it's too late because it's never too late. It's never too late to pick up a paintbrush. It's never too late to try for a job. It's never too late to go back to school. It's never too late to do these things that you think, but that would light me on fire. Then go and light yourself on fire and don't let other people rob you of opportunities. And don't compare yourself to other people because it robs you of your joy. So you just stick with you
Mhm.
and be open and be curious.
Right.
Curious with yourself and curious with the world. And I am telling you, your life will be so full. It will be so beautiful. And I just feel so fortunate that I have had this opportunity, however long I get to stay here.
Right.
I'm going to soak it up and I'm going to love it and be grateful for it. And gratitude has got me where I am. And so for whoever's listening, just get after it. Get after it. Take one step and you just watch the doors open and go one more step, the doors will open, go, go, go. And then next thing you know, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, how did I get here? This is, I did this. Yay. And it's amazing. So it's just never, ever too late.
You are so right. You are so right. Thank you so much, Jen. And I so appreciate you for sharing that with us. And then
Thank
you have
you.
given us some absolute wonderful nuggets to leave. I had to write a couple of them down. So it's like that is so true to be able to, like you said, go after it.
Yeah.
All
Thank
right.
you. And if you come to Dubai, I want to see you.
I will be there. I will be there.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I'm probably going to come back by myself before I take the group, but for sure I'm bringing a group in December, but I'll probably come back before then
Great.
just because I love the place so much and I've got to go back.
Yeah. Great.
Soul is like, you have to go back.
Love it. Well,
I'll
I will
definitely
be
reach out and
waiting
say,
with
hey, I hope
you.
you're in town. I'm gonna come and visit. Let's go and have some of that delicious dessert you told me about.
Okay. I will take you for it. We'll go for it. I love it.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Mothers and daughters, guess what? I've got a PSA for you to join us for an amazing meet and greet. Join mothers and daughters and the International Ladies of Purpose for a special meet and greet on May the 17th at Black Rock Coffee Bar. That is the one that's located at 7075 Highway 6 North. It's in Houston, Texas, 77095. That's on the west side of Houston. We're going to be there from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Come and connect with us. Come and network with us. Come and meet and greet other nonprofit leaders and for profit business owners in various communities around Houston. Also, learn more about everyone's mission, how they empower other women, how they are uplifting communities. Whether you're passionate about personal growth, professional development, or simply want to meet like-minded individuals, this is absolutely the Saturday event for you. Mark your calendars, and we'll see you there at the Black Rock Coffee Bar, located at 7075 Highway 6 North, Houston, Texas 77095, from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Make sure you bring plenty of cards, plenty of postcards, plenty of flyers if you've got events coming up, plenty of everything to share with everyone that will be in attendance. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Let's talk about it. I gotta admit, proud of who you become, and everything that you've done. Mother and daughter are always greater when they're together. Everything's better. Mother and daughter, oh, they're the greatest duo. Mother and daughter, oh, they're the greatest duo.
I don't get on TikTok like that.
It's not on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok. That's on IG.
Anything you see on IG is on TikTok.